Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in to our channel, Hindi Namin Kaya, which translates to We Cannot in Tagalog. I'm Marty.
And I'm Kailene. If you are tuning back into our channel, welcome back. And if you're new here, welcome.
So we just finished MyDay the series, episode 12, and in this not this episode, but in this video, we will be doing a little review of the episode and of the series as a whole. First and foremost, episode 12, they put in a lot in episode 12. But I think they tried to just jam pack so much in this last episode, and it was kind of hard to just keep up. A lot of emotional revelations for all the characters, and yeah, it was a lot. What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. This episode was definitely a really long one, and I think because of all of the emotional dialogue and like just the atmosphere of the episode, it just felt like it went on even longer because there was so much to digest.
Yeah.
I feel like they probably could have split this into 2 episodes, honestly, because it just felt like there was so much to take in.
I feel like there was so many different redemptions and all that. I feel they could have spread it out throughout the whole series as a whole.
Yeah, or even like just the last like 2 or 3 episodes, they could have spread that out. But I mean, I can see why they did it this way. It's just it was a lot for one episode. If you watched our reaction video, like our actual reaction video to this episode, you'll hear us talk a lot about Moira and how we honestly don't think that she had the correct redemption, because generally when you're getting redeemed for something, it's because you learn your lesson and you seek forgiveness. It really didn't feel like that. So I feel like they could have done a lot more with her and her character. Like it almost feels like she was given the short end of the stick.
Yeah. I think that was one of our biggest gripes with this episode was with Moira. We were expecting or assuming these past episodes that from her actions she was going to get some sort of, repercussions of some sort, or at least some revelation that maybe she's going a bit too far. But even until the very point of Sky and Ace giving her forgiveness, she was still fighting for her way.
And I don't even think she like actually recognized that they were in love. Like I honestly thought that her redemption would have something to do with her seeing how much they were in love and her being like, okay, I finally understand it. But even up until the very end, she was not seeing it. She was the only thing she said was, oh, so there's nothing else I can do.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
And I think
doesn't
like she projected so much. Like it was always like, oh, you're the one that did this, guy. You're the one that caused all this drama. You're the one that caused me pain. And then she doesn't even realize that she nearly freaking killed him. Like
it's also not realistic either. Like realistically, there needs to be some sort of punishment for these characters, because then it just promotes the idea that people can get away with something like this and that nothing bad is going to happen, when in reality, yeah, she committed a felony. She committed a felony. She tried to kill him.
The thing is that I think like even the whole scandal, the video part and all that, like that was really bad. And in terms of like forgiveness, like let's take Game Boys for example, with the character Risa, who outed Kai, and when they had their little dialogue together, even Kai was like, even when she was asking for forgiveness, Kai was like, maybe this isn't the time. Like, it didn't even, like, not forgiving her at all, but he was like, maybe this isn't time, but I appreciate you coming by and talking to me about this. But with this whole, like, Moira and the 2 guys, it was like, oh, you're crying. Don't cry anymore. We forgive you. Like, that's...
Yeah, and same with the family. They just let so much go on that they shouldn't have, and realistically, most families would not, like, let fly at all.
Yeah.
So that just...
Yeah,
that was really my own gripe.
Yeah, the whole. I think they took the whole negative, toxic female trope that you find a little too far with Moira.
She took no accountability. No
accountability at all.
accountability for anything. Yeah, I don't think she learned her lesson. Who's to say that she's not going to do it again to someone else? Like, I feel like if she was going to be actually redeemed, like how they wanted her to be redeemed, she needed to have learned her lesson.
And then you go and see the redemption for Sir Ramon. And you see that he is learning. Like he had to talk with Kim, and it was just like a second opinion. Like he had two people leave him, wife first, and all of a sudden his son, and then him not understanding what's going on, looked for a second opinion, and it took until then for him to actually learn and to redeem himself. I think that was a good road to take.
Yeah, he learned his lesson. He apologized. Like he outright explained where he was wrong. Like, that's how you do a correct redemption.
Yeah, and then like with other things about this episode, they try to do so much character development this last episode, from the mom finding out about her, and like that was a lot to digest, to even someone who's we've seen in the first episode, Ken, and just Ken and Sky all together. They have different moms. Like that
Yeah,
was
they just snuck that in there. I was like, plus, what does that even have to do with the story necessarily? That had like nothing to do with anything.
I guess it's like the whole sentiment is like, yeah, even though we have different moms, like I still see you as a brother, but you know that could have been even taken out. Like
yeah, like they didn't need to have that to prove just how much he loves him. Like just being brothers is enough to love each other that much, you know. So like,
there was a lot there.
Yeah.
And I think it was just like there's just so much new information just kind of being thrown at us that for last episode, I think just kind of convoluted the episode and just the story plot of the last episode. Like to the point where even the emotional areas were just, to me, I wasn't really feeling it because I was still trying to digest.
Yes, I was feeling everything else. It was just something after something after something, and by the end it was just like
I think as an episode, like I'll be honest, like I was a little just kind of unsatisfied with how it ended here. Just kind of seeing Myra at graduation.
It just didn't feel right. Like it didn't feel, and it's not even that I'm saying this because I don't like her character or because she's the like villain in the story. It's not even that. It's really just like it feels like they didn't do her character justice.
Yeah. Even like Celine, even she had kind of a redemption.
Yes, she admitted that she was wrong and that she shouldn't have gone this far. Granted, it was small, but it was still a redemption. Like, she still realized it. So, but I mean, other than that, like going on to, let's say, acting was phenomenal for all across the board. Very, very proud of everyone, especially for most of the cast being first-time actors. Props to you guys for being able to hold such a heavy episode and do these consistent, very serious and very heartfelt scenes.
Yeah, so the acting for most of the heartfelt scenes in the last episode was actually done really well. So let's talk about the series as a whole. Character development, I think it's when it comes down to character development throughout this whole story plot, they spent a lot of time with just Sky and Ace's character development.
Definitely agree with that. Yes, Ace and Sky are the main characters, but don't forget about your supporting characters too. And it really honestly kind of felt like that's what happened with the character development. It just felt like they weren't given their stories developed until the very last episode, maybe two. Same thing with even like Sir Ramon for pretty much the entirety of the series was just either MIA or just the very angry dad, very bitter angry dad, and then all of a sudden he had so much going for him in the last two episodes.
And I think like what happens is that I'm not quite sure when it comes down to it, like with the story development, but yeah, I feel like they spent so much time with Ace and Sky. Like they can, when it comes down to the 18 plus scenes, they know what they're doing. Like they've shown us
really good job with those.
They gave us a lot of, but in a sense, like it's not. I get it, sex sells, but you can't compromise
the rest of the story for the
scenes. like a
you
good
definitely
story.
Could have like taken some of the times where it felt like the pacing was too slow to accommodate for that. Like for example, the whole Moira and Celine bit, whenever they were bantering back and forth about Chuk, like that was so much opportunity for you to put in other things, and so that way it didn't feel so long.
And that's a good segue into just the script itself. I think when it comes down to this, I think it went down a more organic route. Like there weren't set lines. Because to me, I feel like when it comes down to, especially for viewers, we need something easy to kind of follow that way. But then with this series, it's almost kind of like organic Filipino talk, like talking over each other. And so it's like really hard to like kind of follow one or the other.
And it's not even like a language barrier either. Like we both understand Tagalog, and even if we didn't, it's really just the presentation of it. Like the presentation of people consistently talking over it. And I get it, like you're trying to make it look organic and natural, and that's a big part of like acting, is making it seem so seamless. But also there needs to be a little bit more structure.
I think there were times when like one person would say something, and when the other person's about to reply, the first person starts to say something again. And so they're kind of like resetting each other. They would say the line again over and over again because they keep getting interrupted.
At some points you even knew that they were waiting for their turn to talk. Because like it wasn't like you have this line and then this person has this line. It was like they're bouncing off of each other, which to an extent can be good, but also again there needs to be structure.
Yeah. What I think that they do really, really well is cinematography.
Yes, absolutely.
They have amazing shots that they do, and you could tell. Like let's be honest, from the trailer, from the first trailer that they had, now you could tell that they have production. They have a production budget. They know what they're doing in terms of like what they want to see on the screen. Again, like when Ace and Miss Becky were talking to each other after Ace and his dad got into a fight, and then that kind of like foreground background thing when they're blurred out, you see Becky in the background and then Ace in the foreground, back and forth. I thought that was an amazing shot.
It's beautiful.
Especially, and there's this one scene which I think it was just great cinematography, but it was just kind of more funny, was when he slept over at Sky's house and we thought his hand was on a certain body part.
With a pillow.
And we thought we thought like
you guys did this on purpose. I know you guys did that on purpose.
They did that on purpose.
You got me.
They definitely did. They knew what they're doing there. So in terms of comprehending cinema, I think, or cinematography and the scenes, I think they got that.
Yeah, and especially for I know you guys had a production budget, but also COVID was definitely a thing, and you guys definitely made that work. Marty and I watched a video. I think we touched on this before, but we watched a video about how you had to reuse some of the same sets and be creative in terms of changing the environment because you were so limited with what you could do. And I think you guys did a phenomenal job.
You guys were able to utilize what little you guys had at the time. Yeah, I think.
And honestly, if I didn't watch that video, I don't think I would have been able to tell.
Oh, same here. Next up, actors. For actors, for me at least, there were some hit and misses. Again, the Celine and Moira character had so much potential. I think it was just because of just the dialogue there. Sky and Ace, I would have to say, their chemistry is amazing, and I have to give it up to the older actors and actresses, like the parent, the ones that play the parents, because you could tell that they're veterans, that they've done this before. Regardless of that, I know that there was a lot of new actors. For what was given to them, I think they did well.
Yeah, I completely agree. My only gripe was really Moira and Celine, and again, it's not because they were the villains in the story. it was really honestly that they could have been given a lot more. And there were definitely multiple times where the acting could have been better, the pacing could have been better with them. So I would definitely, for the next season, please revisit those two characters. In terms of acting for Ace and Sky, your chemistry, amazing. So good. Yeah, especially for being first-time actors, it was great.
Yeah, so for Ace and Sky, like the way that they act in terms of like acting as like Joaz, as like boyfriends, it was believable. It seemed real for most of the part.
It still kind of does, honestly. Like, yeah. I don't know if it's the fact that, like, if I remember correctly, they were living in the same place to accommodate for COVID, or even just like because they're really good friends. Even for just being really good friends, your chemistry is so good. Like, I don't even know if I can do that with my best friend, like, and have the chemistry be as good, you know? So props to you guys. I don't know what you guys are doing, but keep it up, please.
And lastly, I think one of the big things that I want to talk about with sound in terms of like I believe that I think there were lapels, hidden lapels, or mics in their shirts. So whenever, like, let's say there's interactions like a hug
or like someone shoving someone else, you could hear it.
And I think that's just in post-editing production, where the sound guy really needs to just go through the whole scene and find these little things and get rid of them, take them out of the timeline while he edits.
Same thing with like really loud sounds, people yelling at each other.
Ace and his dad. Once the dad went to a certain level, I've said it before in previous videos, that you get to hear the distortion. It's almost like a shrilling sound in the ear. Usually when you look at other, like, let's say other productions or movies or anything like that, and there are arguments that get that high. For example, The Notebook. And they get into that really high kind of yelling match. You're not just distracted by the shrill in the ears, and you're so involved into what they're arguing about. But yeah, sound was probably one of the big things that I noticed. If a season 2 happens, so if a season 2 happens, I really do hope that the MyDay team does take into account review suggestions, but they kind of learn from everything. And when it comes down to MyDay, it has such great potential.
And even if you guys don't do a season 2, for wherever the rest of you move on to, I hope you guys take these things into account for, let's say, different series, regardless of whether or not you're working together as a cast or as a crew. Like, these are just things that, say, for example, like whoever's doing the sound could take this into account for whatever he works on next. It's not just necessarily for this series, although I really do hope that there is a season 2, please.
Yeah, if there isn't a season 2, congratulations regardless. You guys,
yes, congrats.
Guys did this. All right. You want to close it out for us?
Yes. Thank you so much for watching. If you have anything that you'd like to tell us, any feedback you wanted to give us, or anything you want to say at all, just drop us a comment in the comments below. Also hit that notification bell to be notified when we are dropping our next video. And if you like us a lot, please subscribe. Other than that, take care, stay safe. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Take care, bye.